fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Hello everyone and welcome to what will be the penultimate round of the Just Send It Championship in its entirety. We make the trip over to Japan to the brilliant yet underused Okayama International Circuit where Formula 1 once visited back in the day. Although today we're going for a slightly different open wheel car in the form of the 2012 Dallara DW12, of course named as a homage to the late Dan Weldon. I'm Bo Albert, running the show solo tonight, but I do have Mr. JK Kennedy on the cameras and trying to make the show run as smoothly as possible. And at the moment, we're just working our way through practice. It is 2 minutes 30 on the clock, and the drivers are just trying to get to grips with the circuit at the moment because it is a very, very hot track, just to say the least. And by hot, I mean we're looking at 30 degrees ambient, but more impressively, an unbelievable 54-degree track temperature. So the drivers today are going to be sliding left, right, and center. Just about every apex, every traction zone, every braking zone. It's going to get messy really quick for these drivers. But of course, the good news is they're in a Dallara DW12, which has plenty of downforce. And the setup they are running does have a bit more downforce built into it. So you've got plenty of grip when you get this car up to speed, but in the slow speed corners, which there are at Okayama, we've got some very slow speed corners, particularly at the back half of the circuit. You've got two hairpins that lead into the other. Well, this car is going to have to rely on all of its mechanical grip on this kind of a track temperature to really get anywhere as the drivers continue to come to grips with this combination now, and plenty of drivers finding lots of damage and walls around this circuit as clearly they are struggling to get to grips with just how hot it is. I've already seen a number of drivers, particularly at turn number 4, of course, that really long right-hander that leads onto the back straight. The drivers just trying to get onto the power as often as they can, and unfortunately some of them do find themselves just bursting the car into wheel spin because there's actually quite a bad bump on the exit of that corner. You don't really notice it in a GT car or the like, but in an open wheel car, you can really get the car thrown around quite a lot if you are running an extremely tight line, and that bump there is just waiting to find you. But at the moment, in the practice session, it is Jamie Craig currently fastest ahead of Brenton Hobson, who is going to be second in practice at the moment. But Brenton actually has a lot of work to do tonight. Of course, he's the championship leader at the moment, but he'll be starting all the way down in position number 9. So for the 88 car, who has a habit of finishing 6th, I think would very much take a 6th place tonight because there is a lot of danger that comes in the opening lap here at Okayama. The opening few corners always provide just a little bit of chaos, and the drivers are going to have to watch out for that today as Hubbo goes for a bit of a rotation and parks pretty beautifully on the DRS board. But those DRS boards mean absolutely nothing to us tonight. No DRS to speak of, but these cars, I don't know if we can use it in a fixed session, but these cars are equipped with push to pass on road courses, so that could be very interesting to see if that does become a strategy element as practice comes to a close. Their 10 minutes to warm up, sort themselves out, is up and done. And what we will do in just a couple of moments' time is take a look at our starting order for tonight's race. And leading the way on pole position is your second place in the championship, Mr. Ryan Wood, and alongside him, Mitchell McLeod, very close behind as well. Tyler Howard, Emerson Harvey, and Jamie Craig is your top 5, with Christian Lindbaum on the 3rd row of the grid. Cam Dance kicks things off from position number 7 with Steve Jansen on the 4th row of the grid. Championship elect Brenton Hobson doesn't have to do too much with a 22-point lead heading into the penultimate round of the championship, but still, you have to be so careful not to lose any more points. Murray Vartanian rounds out the top 10, and then to file out the next 10 cars, we have Lee Harrison, Matt Lapino, Aidan Brand, Harrison Dengate, Kai Allen makes his way into the top 15 ahead of Joel Shikavazira, Eddie Beswick, Jonathan Bykoff, Tyson McAvoy, and Daniel Yeaman. And then kicking things off on the what I believe would be the 11th row of the grid, Matthew Hansford-Taylor alongside Jane Russell, Tom Wilkinson, Greg McLansborough in 24th, Simon Black, your Just Sender admin, in 25th, Jamie Jarosz in position 26 ahead of Tim Mitchell, Matthew Kefford, Ian Quast, and Jackson Barry is the 30th car in the grid and is currently reversing as well. So an interesting tactic there as the drivers make their way on this extremely short formation lap. And these guys are going to be very, very cautious in towards turns 1 and 2, hopefully, because these cars on cold tyres are sure to be quite a handful as the Porsche iRacing safety car leads the field. Lights are already out. It's going to get underway very, very soon. It's in the control of the number 40 car in the form of Ryan Wood. Rounding the final corner, holding. Never mind, let's go racing. It is underway for 40 minutes of racing. Will there be safety cars? Will there be crashes? Will there be drama in the championship? We're about to find out as the drivers all fly all the way in towards turn number 1. Almost a collision between second and third. One car off in the gravel behind in the Ferrari livery. But for the most part, I've got to say the drivers being very well behaved through turns number 1 and 2 as well. So well done there as the Ferrari car goes for a spinala on the exit of turn number 2 as well, a bit like their Formula 1 counterpart, but nonetheless, drivers taking a fair amount more care than I actually thought they would, so I'm very, very impressed by this as they make their way down the long back straight, very, very high speeds in these cars. Take a look at just how fast some of them end up going. You can see some cars almost 270 kilometers an hour as Jonathan Bykoff has a little bit of a move up the inside. As who's that? The 22 car has found themselves rotated. It's Mario Vartanian at the hairpin. Has to be careful on the rejoin, and that is unfortunate there for Mario, who finds himself in all the wrong places on track, and will now get himself underway. But back out front to the race leader, it is Ryan Wood at the moment, who is beginning to just try and step away from Mitchell McLeod in second place, Tyler Howard in position number 3, Emerson Harvey and Jamie Craig. So your top 5 where they qualified. And in fact, I'm looking at it, your entire top 10 have just about stayed where they started this very first lap. That is very impressive to see. Kai Allen is one of the drivers who has been able to make a few positions up 6 spots from where he started. So Kai Allen in the 26 car is having a very good run indeed as the drivers make their second lap of the race underway. See how things do begin to pan out for all these drivers. So, where does this all stack up in the championship? Race or championship leader Brenton Hobson, of course, 22 points ahead of second place Ryan Wood, is now in 10th place and has to get on the offensive to try and get 9th place back. He actually lost that spot from where he has started. So Brenton Hobson, not the best start to his race that he would have liked, but he's applying the pressure right now to Kai Allen in front, who had that very, very fast start. In fact, I'm actually now seeing that Brenton Hobson, oh no, it's timing screen glitch, so he is in 10th place at the moment, is Mr. Brenton Hobson. But for these drivers, just working their way, just slowly building the car up to track temperature, which actually, unbelievably, has now risen to 57 degrees centigrade. So this track is really pulling out all of the punches. Race leaders across the start-finish line to start lap number 3. The lap's going very, very fast here. And on that previous lap, it was Mitchell McLeod ever so slightly faster. Now, the issue for Mitch here, 7 tenths behind your race leader, is these are an aero-based car. So, of course, they're going to be suffering from a little bit of air in every corner. You're really, really going to be struggling. And for these drivers at the moment, sticking behind the car in front is going to be a much harder task than something like a GT car. But you get onto the main straight, or the back straight, as Mitch McLeod and Ryan Wood are right now, and you do actually get that draft effect as well as a big wiggle under brakes there for Mitchell McLeod. But not able to make enough progress and just sitting behind in second place, but was the fastest car on track last lap around. So do not discount Mitchell McLeod by any stretch of the imagination. Seeing Jonathan Bykoff off at the hairpin as well. So Jonathan having quite a difficult opening run as well. Of course, he qualified fairly well in 18th place, made his way up to 15th. But that spin just there, I'm seeing, has dropped him back down to his starting spot as he then dives back up the inside of Jane Russell, trying to make very light work indeed, and indeed he does. So loses a couple of spots, then gain them all back as well, as Mario Vartanian is another driver who is making a comeback after an early spin in this car. So a lot of drivers just having little moments early on in this race. But of course, one thing we never know when it comes to Just Send It is that there are random safety cars at any point. It could be no safety cars, it could be one, it could be two. We have absolutely no information. Anything go. This could be a very good one indeed as well. I'm just hearing that one of our drivers has made the most progress in this race. Kai Allen has had a moment at one, dipped the wheel on the grass on corner exit, and it has flicked him into what I must say is quite a good save. He recovered the car extremely well. So for Kai Allen, he's able to continue on in the race, but has now dropped down to 13th place. And Jamie Craig as well, who was 5th place at the start of the first lap and qualified there. I'm just saying has had a spin at turn number 4 on the power, and that's what I was saying before, is that some of these drivers can just loop the car a little bit too much out of turn number 4. The car with that little bump in the road on corner exit is in all kinds of trouble. So what we might do is just get a replay of Emerson Harvey. As we can see, what I'm seeing is he had a bit of a lock-up into the first. He's actually had a lock-up into both of the hairpins. So he's had a bit of damage to his front wing and is really struggling with that. He was locking up into all the corners, and he's trying to get into the pit lane, just in a very awkward spot. And I've got to say, very good recovery, or avoidance action, I should say, from Cam Dance to not make any more contact, because that could have been a lot worse indeed. But a few drivers now into the pit lane. Emerson Harvey, of course, is one. Also seeing Tyson McAvoy dive into the pit. So in total, we've had quite a number of drivers dive into the pit lane for a repair. So clearly the Dallara is getting the best of quite a lot of drivers. But these this series does feature fast repairs. So what we might do is just get a replay now of Jamie Craig, who's still running into a couple of little issues. Jamie Craig. And yes, I am seeing quite a lot of damage. I apologize if I'm not up into sync with the replay tonight. I'm having a couple of technical difficulties on my own side, but I've just seen there he's had a big moment on throttle out of turn number 2, and the car was just spinning, and sadly it was always heading towards the inside barrier, and he's been flicked away in a big way and damaged front and rear. And fast repair or not, I've got to say that is going to be pretty race devastating for your driver there. But we do have one of our first proper pit stops now diving on into the pit lane, and that was Steve Jansen, who was applying pressure to Cam Dance, but he's elected to make his way into the race as Matthew Hansford Taylor finds himself under the wrath of the iRacing stewards and Just Send It stewards as well. So he will be out of the race as well, becoming one of our first proper DNFs, or will not complete the race drivers. But Cam Dance now is up into position number 5, so he's had a good start, up 2 spots, as is the driver he is chasing, Christian Lindbaum in front. And Christian Lindbaum really been on quite a strong run of form of late, and just picking up points here and there, and of course involved in a few little incidents as well. I believe, if memory serves me right, had a bit of an incident last week in the Legends car at Daytona, but still always towards the front, always getting good points, and that is a fantastic effort there, as Daniel Yeaman is in a good battle at the moment, side by side with Jonathan Bykoff around the outside. A tricky move to do, but they're trying to make it work. Daniel Yeaman now on the outside. That's a long way to go. You can see the open wheel car basically running at a steering lock and had nothing to do there, but a big curb strike from Mr. Jonathan Bykoff, and back up the inside goes Dan Yeaman. What a fight we've got as they go side by side down the front straight, and you can see the driver on the outside of Bykoff there with much better overspeed, trying to make a bit of a run. Could not quite do it though. There's a car there, and Kai Allen, who had such a good start, it started to go a little bit wrong, almost goes even more wrong as he finds himself heading towards the tyre barrier, but thankfully keeps it out. Jonathan Bykoff and Daniel Yeaman will continue their little scrap though as they work their way now into the very tricky turn number 4. And what very different lines on exit there. You can see Jonathan Bykoff really avoiding all the bumps on corner exit there, trying to maximize his run, which he's done now. Has the inside clear, and late on the brakes he will go. Bit of a lock up there, but still manages to make the apex and gets the spot over Daniel Yeaman, who then has to witness Jonathan Bykoff miss the apex as well. So these two having a great little scrap But in doing so, they're actually costing themselves to Kai Allen, who, of course, was with them at the start of the lap. But now they're both slowing each other up quite a lot. And you can see that I think the battle may continue for a couple more corners because Bykoff is really struggling. And Daniel Yeaman with a big slide on corner exit there as well. They are really throwing the car around as we are about to hit our first 10 minutes of this race done. And already we are some 7 and 8 laps into this race. So we're looking at about 24 laps to go if there's no safety car interventions. So these drivers are really going to have to look after their tyres as Jamie Jaros out of the hairpin is around and unfortunately just backs the car into the wall. Will rejoin the race. A bit of a scary place to do it. But as far as rejoining there, Jamie Jaros has done a very good job of that. We'll get a bit of a look on that and see what has happened. And just on throttle, the car had absolutely no intention of gripping up and just bursted into wheel spin on Jamie there and could not do anything about it. But we'll move up a little bit further up the field to 4th and 5th positions because Lindbaum is having big trouble into the first of the 2 hairpins. How's the second hairpin go for him? Much better, I have to say, as Cam Dance continues to apply plenty of pressure there, as these two have gone for some very different liveries. We've got Cam Dance in a livery that is steeped in history. It's got so much heritage behind it. And then we've got Christian Lindbaum, who has a painting template on his car, which literally has bottom on the rear wing, so you know which way is up and which way is down. So very different livery approaches there, but also different driving styles, as Jaden Russell right in front of the two has a big moment, and he will be out of the server very quick indeed. So we might get a bit of a look on that as well and see what has happened there. And again, what is happening to these drivers on throttle? None of them able to cope with the extremely high track temperatures that we have here today. Still seeing 57 degrees centigrade, so it is not cooling down at all. And in fact, it's only 12:30 in the afternoon here in the virtual Okayama International Circuit. It's another drive off the road in Kwas. Now, these drivers are dropping like flies, and really it is going to be the cream that rises to the top at this kind of a race, as Mitchell McLeod, as I turn to him there to see how he's progressing against your race leader, decides to make no more progress. He's going to make progress into the pit lane instead. And a very conservative Mitch. I'm a little disappointed on your pit entry there, but he does make his way in to potentially cover himself from a random safety car if that were to come out at any point in time. Cam Dance still applying pressure to the likes of Christian Lindbaum in front, but not able to match Lindbaum last lap around. So these two just trading blows bit by bit. But we'll see where Mitchell McLeod comes out. Of course, traffic is so bad in these open wheel cars. But a 7.7 second pit stop, and where is anyone behind him? The answer is not really anywhere. So they are all going to continue. But what we do have behind us is Jonathan Bykoff going around the outside. They're a long way around the outside of Aiden Brand, who has damage to his front wing. So these two having a good scrap there, and Aiden Brand, unfortunately, losing that spot at the end of it all. I wonder if that front wing is really compromising him, because, of course, we all know that the front wing is so critical to an open wheel Formula car with its downforce. That's where all of its initial bite into the corner at high speeds comes from. So if you lose your front wing or damage it in such a way, you're in for a lot of trouble in many ways. So what we might do is have a look at our race leader, because he is now making sure he covers himself from one Mitchell McLeod, dives on into the pit lane, and will relinquish now the race lead to Tyler Howard, who will now become your de facto race leader. So we'll have a look at that as well. But what we're also going to do is have a look at Mr. Christian Lindbaum, who has now lost a lot of time to Cam Dance, and it was all at the final corner. But what exactly has he done here? He's just, I don't know, he didn't really, from what I can see, look to get into the grass. He just kind of got into the marbles. And when he got to turning into the corner, the car just said, absolutely not. I will not do that at all. So Christian Lindbaum there loses the spot to Cam Dance. But more importantly, in the overall battle for our race win today, Ryan Wood has come out of the pit lane, not in the effective first place, but in fact second place. Mitchell McLeod has had a pit stop that is only 0.2 faster, but 0.3 faster in the lane time. So clearly Mitchell McLeod having a very strong in-lap or out-lap, and or maybe perhaps not the same could be said for Ryan Wood, and he's had a bit of a slow in-lap. So a bit of a change there, and I'm interested to see how this battle pans out, because of course Ryan Wood really needs this race win in the championship with Brenton Hobson all the way down in 10th place at the moment. So Hobbo has taken his pit stop crucially as well, so he is covering himself from any safety cars that do come out. But at the moment for Mitchell McLeod, this is in a very good position as well. If he can continue to defend from the likes of Ryan Wood, who we saw be very fast in practice. He was quick in qualifying, putting the car on pole position. But now what can he do in a offensive situation where he has to try and pass him on? Christian Lindbaum and Eddie Beswick dive into the pit lane to get their pit stops out of the way on this particular lap. So Ryan Wood, now what can he do against the likes of Mitchell McLeod? You can see a little bit of traffic in front. That is Jamie Ross, who we saw have that slide a few laps earlier as McLeod locks it up into turn number 4. A great exit here from Ryan Wood. In the slipstream there will go. And it's all going to be a game of chicken. Who's going to be the late of the last breakers in towards the hairpin? It's going to be a tricky one. And Ryan Wood wants absolutely nothing to do with the outside line there. It's a tricky place to be. That is a corner that does have a lot of camber to it. So for these drivers, if you do want to get a bit risky, hold it all the way around the outside of that hairpin. You do open yourself up to an opportunity in the next sequence of corners. You can see there, Ryan Wood has a little look up the inside, and he's actually managed to threaten Mitch McLeod just a little bit, and that's a brave one. No, surely not from Ryan Wood. That would be outrageous. It is outrageous. There's contact, and how on earth did he not spin that car? That should have been a plane crash of an accident, but somehow, some way, Ryan Wood has got away with it. And that is pretty incredible to see, because I thought for just a few moments there, that was going to be position done and dusted around the outside. It was a brave move from Wood. It didn't really look like it was a move that should have worked, but it just got Mitchell McLeod thinking a little too much about his rearview mirrors. And McLeod ended up just overshooting the corner a little bit and making the opportunity happen as McLeod locks up again into towards turn number 4. So clearly just not having a very good run of luck under brakes at the moment. So something he does need to make sure he watches out for, because these tires, of course, he has pitted, will not last forever. And McLeod, the braking is not being his best friend right now. Every braking zone, oh, hello, here's an extra chicane I did not see on the track map when I studied for this particular broadcast. But Ryan Wood and Mitchell McLeod, they negotiated absolutely perfectly. As McLeod, he's got to make a change to his brake bias. There is something not right in the 31 talking car. He's having no luck, and it's going to be almost a carbon copy of the last time. But will it be a carbon copy into this corner? No, Ryan Wood learns his lesson and wants absolutely nothing to do with it in that particular corner. So these two will continue their scrap for another lap. Turn 1 is an overtaking opportunity if you're very, very brave. But that would be a big dive from there as Mitchell McLeod leads another lap now, as they are the essential race leaders, apart from Cameron Dance, who is having a little bit too much fun in the race lead at the moment. You can see a lap car there. Tom Wilkinson, usually very respectful to the race leaders, but this time around gets a little bit in the way. And Mitchell McLeod will not be happy about that, because that just gives Ryan Wood a little bit more incentive to close on up. And look at the run he's got. This is a great run out of turn number 4 in the slipstream. And how aggressive is the defense from McLeod? The answer is what defense? I have no defense at all, because Ryan Wood is defending himself too much on the brakes. Contact between the two. And again, somehow, it doesn't end between these two having some kind of major off or spin or incident. And Ryan Wood will resume duties at the front of the field, but McLeod, very, very lucky to get away with that. So for these drivers at the moment, they are playing risky, as Cam Dance has had enough of his little 2 minutes of spotlight and will dive on into the pit lane. What we might do is we'll go on board with your race leader, Ryan Wood, as he tries to pull away from Mitchell McLeod. We'll go for a hot lap here in Just Send It. Well, we are back, and what a battle we have happening at the moment. Hopefully you enjoyed the onboard lap there with your current race leader and championship rival to Brenton Hobson. But at the moment, position 5 and 6 is heating up as Tyler Howard there is trying all kinds of maneuvers here to defend from Christian Lindbaum, who looks up the inside in towards turn number 1. Nothing happened there. And Christian Lindbaum just continuing to make the attack as a big slide from Tyler Howard. Lucky to get away with that. And he's going to be very, very fortunate if he gets away with that, because I think this is now going to all be over as Lindbaum gets a much better run, or does he, out of turn number 4 as Tyler Howard. I'm always a fan of Rallycross, but maybe not in Dalara's Mr. Tyler Howard, but nonetheless, he gets a good run, and it will hold on to this position for another lap, as here comes Joel Shigavazira. And if you guys are both going to run wide, I might just take the apex and have a look at passing both of you. And at the moment, it's 2 from 2 missed apexes from your 2 cars in front. They're not having a good time at all. And Joel really applying the pressure at the moment here, as he's had a fantastic run up 9 spots in this race. And just continuing to hunt the 2 in front who continue to lock up. So these drivers, with this track temp at the moment, absolutely no luck at all as they winds their way now into the final section of corners. This time it's Mr. Joel Shigavazira's turn to have a bit of a lock-up, and that's going to give Christian Lindbaum a little bit of breathing room from behind, and he can really focus his attention on Mr. Tyler Howard, who runs a little bit wide. And sadly, Mr. Christian Lindbaum could not do anything about it, couldn't capitalize enough, although he's got a great run out of turn number 3. Looks to the inside, maybe not. Wow, that's very late on the brakes indeed. Tyler Howard's gonna make almost contact. That was very, very close. Shigavazira has the best run of the 3 as well, and look who's behind. Don't make any mistakes, it's your championship leader. Brenton Hobson is to the grass. Goes Tyler Howard up the inside of Lindbaum. That was very risky, that was very brave, and it has paid off. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lindbaum has just gifted that to them all, as he was a little bit terrified of turning into the corner there. With the audacious move from Tyler Howard, who is doing more rallycross than IndyCar driving at the moment. Up the inside goes Lindbaum, locking up goes Howard. These guys scrapping for days and thunder. Contact into the second chicane, or hairpin as well. And it continues battling on. Tyler Howard now into second place of this group. This is a brilliant race at the moment, as these 2 chop and change. Here comes Hobo 88 in position 8 at the moment as well, but not before Shigavazira is going to have a little bit of a look up the outside of Mr. Tyler Howard. You can see Lindbaum trying to break free, and I do not blame him. Get away from the craziness of this battle as Shigavazira around the outside, almost contact. Almost wheel-to-wheel contact, 200 kilometers an hour on corner exit there. This is high-stakes danger at the moment. Almost contact nose to rear there as well. Big slide from Howard. And the Hobo, you can see how careful he's being. The worst thing for him with Ryan Wood in the race lead is a DNF. And you can see there, the second Howard got all kinds of oversteer. Brenton just said, nope, I am out of this. There is not a snowball's chance in heck that I will be going for that. And Hobo decides to hold on to 8th place. But clearly Tyler Howard enjoyed that battle, had a lot of fun, but I think his rear tires are now paying the price for it, because you can see the drivers in front skipping away a little bit. And Tyler now under all kinds of pressure from Hobo 88. He thinks about the inside. What's the traction? Oh, big wiggle on corner exit, and the caution comes out. But I don't know who would have got that. That was a good move from Hobo. But did he get that before the safety car came out? No, he did not. Great move, Hobo, but try again. As Tyler Howard, I don't mean to embarrass you, mate, but almost goes off under safety car conditions. But more importantly, what does this do for some of your drivers? Now, normally, in this situation, I would say there's 15 minutes left in this race. Do not even think about pitting. You've all done your pit stops. It is what it is. But my question to myself is it worth diving under the pit lane and getting some fresh tires on your car? Because the one thing we have seen in this race is drivers are struggling night and day for traction late in the run, and the track temperature is still 57 degrees Celsius, which is absolutely bonkers. That's one of the hottest track temps I've ever seen, although I did once see 72 degrees Celsius at Mount Panorama, so we're not quite at that crazy level of action, but 57 is still exceptionally hot, and these drivers will not have too much experience in these conditions. But surely someone like a Tyler Howard who is struggling with the traction, maybe it's worth just diving into the pit lane. Also, a lot of these drivers have a couple little battle scars on their car as well. We'll see if any of your top 5 or so have any battle scars to the front of your car. It looks all good, although a bit of damage potentially to the front left of Mitchell McLeod. Third place, Cam Dance. That's one driver we haven't really mentioned after his pit stop, but a great effort there to be in third, jumping ahead of the likes of Lindbaum and Steve Jansen. But everything just slows down quite a lot at the moment. The drivers just trying to sort themselves out, see what they need to do, and try and strategize if it is worth diving into the pit lane, which I believe will open on this particular lap. So these drivers just gotta weigh up a couple of options. If you're in the top 5 or 6, I would say surely you would potentially just stay on the tires and tough it out. If you're someone like Tyler Howard, who we have seen struggling with grip quite a lot, maybe it's worth a punt. Maybe, just maybe, as you can see all the drivers there stacking up very well under safety car. Hobbo, being as cautious as ever, is off to the right-hand side of the circuit, doing everything he can to avoid a clumsy accident under safety car as the rest of your drivers begin to bunch on up. You can see a few drivers getting wave arounds. Is that Mr. I believe that might be Jamie Giraffe, who is just getting that position, that lap around done, so he will be able to retain, or get himself back onto the lead lap, I should say, as he drives off the circuit under safety car. I mean, I laugh at him, but it's surprisingly easy to do. Of course, you think the race has all calmed down, and you don't have any pressure to go fast. Then you get the wave around, and all of a sudden you've got that pressure to catch back up to the safety car to make sure you're there on the restart, and you can make a clumsy little incident. I've been there. I've done some very silly stuff on the safety car myself, but nonetheless, these drivers will get waved around, and that will also give us a nice and clear fight between our race leaders as well, with the likes of Ryan Wood, Mitch McLeod, Cam Dance, Steve Jansen, Christian Lindbaum, Joel Sugar, Tyler Howard, Brenton Hobson, Eddie Beswick, and Daniel Yeaman, your top 10. They will have no lapped cars in between them, and they can fight out all their positions as much as they like, which is great to see. Any takers into the pit lane this lap around, we shall see. At the moment, everyone's fairly happy to stay out. And of course, I guess the other side of the coin, as I'm just hearing by my director, we might have actually had a bit of a crash in pit lane. Oh wow, that's Simon Black. That was very impressive to come to a stop. But I'm just going to go and rewind about here and see what has happened. Oh, that was a very, very late call from Mr. Daniel Yeaman. I'm sorry, Daniel, that's on you. As Harrison Dengate was a lapped around car going, well, potentially quite fast for a lap around car, but that was a very late call into the pit lane from Daniel Yeaman. And I have to say he played his part in that incident there, as Tyson McAvoy threaded the needle and went underneath them both. But Simon Black was coming quite fast and quite lucky to avoid everyone there as well. So, Yeaman into the pits. Mitchell was into the pits as well. So was Bykoff, McAvoy. They all dove into the pits. In the end, Simon Black did not dive into the pit lane. So, we're looking at about 11 minutes of racing right now to go. And the lights are out in the safety car. So we will go green flag racing at the end of this lap. It's going to be an action-packed one. Of course, we've seen Mitchell McLeod attack Ryan Wood before, but is he willing to do it again? Of course. It was a good battle before, but if he doesn't go for any kind of moves, if he plays a conservative, he has to watch out behind, because that madman in the number 6 car, I've not really heard much about him, but I've been told by a few other sources, he's a wild man, and any opportunity he sees, he will go for a dive up the inside. We'll miss the camera and dance in the golden black livery, which is definitely not reminiscing of any Formula 1 liveries. Of course, we would never see such a thing in Just Send It. So, one thing to note as well, just from our director, is Mr. Mitchell McLeod does have a little bit of front left damage to his wing. It's not massive. I've seen worse damage to the front wing, but you have to wonder if that's going to cause just a little bit of straight line speed damage, and if Cam Dance will be able to capitalize on that. We can't really see speeds for the previous few laps. We can only see the peak speeds for all of these drivers. And in fact, if we are going to compare who is the fastest driver in a straight line in this race, just for curiosity's sake, Steve Jansen, 275 kilometers an hour into the braking zone. So these Indy cars, plenty of power, plenty of speed, and can go very, very fast if the need for going fast is required. So McLeod is just trying to taunt to the back of Ryan Wood there as we get ready for the iRacing Porsche Safety Car, which, if you didn't know, is just a Porsche Cup car, but without a rear wing. So, they've taken the easy way to get a Porsche Safety Car, but nonetheless, looks very, very cool and is a bit more up-to-date than some of the other pace cars and pace trucks that we have here on iRacing. But forget about the pace car, forget about the pace truck, forget about everything, because it's coming into the pit lane in a few moments' time. And the de facto safety car, and yes, de facto is definitely my favorite word at the moment, is going to be Mr. Ryan Wood. And when does he apply the power? Will everyone get away cleanly? Of course, it's a very slow start from Ryan Wood, and these drivers on a very hot track have to be careful of wheel spin. It's lights out, and away we go. Cam Dance with a brilliant launch, already hunting Mr. Mitchell McLeod around the outside. And I was expecting a pass from Cam Dance at some point, but he wasted no time at all. Brilliant launch there, and he is already off and away. McLeod may have to try something into the hairpin to get past as well. Lindbaum had a very good restart. He gets past Mr. Jansen as well. And Tyler Howard on the recovery drive also trying to find his way past some of the other drivers as well. Of course, he was very oversteery before the safety car came out. Now the safety car allows him to cool his tyres down, and he can go back racing again. Joshua Mazira in 7th place, and Brenton Hobson in 8th place as well. So Brenton with plenty of positions to gain in the next 8 minutes or 6 laps of racing. So into the hairpin go your race leaders. Now the interesting thing for me is, does Cam Dance have anything right now for Ryan Wood? It's going to be close. It's going to be exciting, as we're just seeing as that Tyler Howard there at the hairpin. He's taken the Rallycross line again. He's really needs to come join me in the iRacing and Rallycross World Championship at this stage, because I'm pretty sure at every lap at this point he's found a way to make a gain in the grass as Mitchell McLeod dives up the inside at turn number 1 on Cam Dance, and Cam fights that not at all just about. It's very, very passive by Cam Dance, not willing to put up a massive argument about it. So see if Cam Dance is willing to try anything into the hairpin coming up out of turn number 4. Get your run, maximize your exit, and that's a good run there from Cam Dance. Now, how much does the front wing damage of Mitch McLeod hurt him? A little bit, but not drastic. But that's going to hurt him a lot more than anything else, because Mitchell McLeod rotates the car. Lucky not to collect Brenton Hobson, who's side by side now with one of our other drivers, Eddie Beswick. And how does that battle pan out? Again, Hobbo just being very passive, wanting to wrap this championship up. He has no interest in binning the car this late in the race, although around the outside of the hairpin was tempting enough for him to try it. And that battle does eventually get resolved. Mario Vartanian almost into the back of Brenton Hobson there. And I know Mario and Ryan Wood do get along a little bit. So will Mario try and help Ryan out at all and stick a move up the inside of the Monster Energy 88 car as we look at 6 minutes remaining in this race, 5 laps to go. If anyone's going to try anything, time is running out. How is Christian Lindbaum as well? He's doing very, very well at the moment. And is he able to steal second place away from Cam Dance? Are they going to hunt down your race leader? I don't think so. Last lap around, a 15.9, new fastest lap of the race. Ryan Wood has checked out, and he is doing everything he needs to in order to hunt down this 22-point advantage that Brenton Hobson has. Lindbaum under brakes into the hairpin, not able to do anything. I'm seeing Daniel Yeaman make a pass on Aiden Brands there, and Aiden Brand very, very passive about that move as well. So some of these drivers just being very, very cautious, not willing to put up too many arguments at this late stage in the race. But I just want to quickly point out as well about some of our top 10 at the moment. Cameron Dance up 5 spots, Lindbaum up 3, Janssen up 4, Joel Shikavazira and Eddie Beswick up 11 spots. And Brenton Hobson, 2 spots, Mario, 2 spots gained, Tyson McAvoy and Daniel Yeaman, 10 spots as well. So I think really the key to this race was don't start in the top 10. It seems to have been a little bit of a curse as the drivers now file their way back in towards turn number 1 as the laps continue to tick down. Let's see if we have any battles still emerging out on the racetrack at the moment. Everyone's close to each other, but no one's really threatening a move at any time at all. So I think we'll stick with Mr. Christian Lindbaum, who continues to hunt down second place Cam Dance, because we know how fast Lindbaum is. These two are scrapping very early in the race before the pit stops took place. So for Lindbaum, he knows he's got the speed. He knows he can take it to Cam Dance. But does he have the time? Is there a mistake for Cam Dance anywhere? Well, there's a lock-up into the hairpin for sure. So that's a bit of incentive there for Lindbaum just to close up a little bit more. But for Christian Lindbaum, time is not on his side. If he's going to make anything happen, he has to close up now and make a pass happen. It's going to be very, very tricky indeed as they all funnel their way through. And Steve Janssen, do not count him out. He was a massive 0.05 of a second faster than Lindbaum last lap around. But I've got to say, I think we're seeing a bit of an accordion effect here, because I think we have Lindbaum catching Dance. I think we have Janssen catching Lindbaum as well, as Mitch McLeod becomes a DNF in this race, unfortunately. So a shame to see as everyone dives their way back in towards turn number 1. It's a tricky right-hander. Many, many different apexes available there. And whichever corner you take, whichever line you take, doesn't usually feel correct. It's usually a very awkward corner. I was driving the GT4 races here just a little while ago, and every lap I went through there, even if it was the fastest sector I've ever done, it still felt wrong. It's a horrible corner in that respect if you are trying to maximize your lap time. But top 3, it was in fact Janssen faster than Lindbaum and Lindbaum faster than Dance. But a strong opening half for this lap to Mr. Cameron Dance allowed the gap just to extend a little bit. How about Brenton Hobson still holding on from Mario Vartanian behind? These two very, very close, and we know Mario is always aggressive. He loves to go for a dive. Is he able to do anything as Eddie Beswick has a big, big wiggle there out of the double left-hander and gets away with it? But Brenton Hobson, this is a tricky spot to be in. Of course, 6th place sounds a lot better. Well, if you're Brenton Hobson, 6th place sounds a lot better. It goes with the meme quite nicely, but for Hobbo, he has to play it safe. He can't afford to bleed too many points here, and an incident with 2 laps to go in this race would be heartbreaking for him and brilliant for Ryan Wood. 2 laps to go, and Mario is close. He is threatening, but Hobbo isn't really providing any massive opportunities. Hobbo just driving his lines, hitting his marks as he needs to, but Mario very, very quick at the moment. And let's see what he can do down this long back straight coming up. It's going to be a big slipstream opportunity as they make their way through. The wind speed is 17 kilometers an hour, so you should see a decent draft effect if it's a headwind. But I think the draft that Hobbo's getting from Beswick is just keeping him out of trouble enough, unless Mario is willing to go very, very brave on the brakes. He's very brave, but not brave enough. A bit of a nudge there. Contact. But they all just stay together. Everyone's just tiptoeing around in these 57-degree track temp conditions. So for all these drivers at the moment, just really trying to make the most of it as a mistake from Beswick. What a horrible place to be in for Brenton Hobson right now. You want to move forward, but it's risky. But you can't drop back either, because there's a car right up your trumpet willing to make any kind of move if an opportunity presents itself. We're seeing the white flag, I believe, in the air for Mr. Ryan Wood. I can't be 100% sure on that, but I believe it will be the final tour now for your race leader. And Hobbo has now broken away from the driver behind in Mario Vartanian just a little bit. We'll see if anything happens into the hairpin as these two continue their scrap. Cam Dance has pulled away massively from Lindbaum now. So that battle is over, and Lindbaum looks safe from Janssen. So your podium positions may stay the same, but a lock-up from Brenton Hobson there into turn number 4. Is this the opportunity that Vartanian needs? Again, the draft from Beswick not helping. And Mario It's a long way back. What can he do? How brave do you want to be? That's brave. That's very late on the brakes. Makes the apex too. Beautiful work there on the middle pedal there from Mario Vartanian. But I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be very, very close between them all. Does anything happen into the pit lane as I've just accidentally clicked test drive? And I can't see this battle up the inside. Goes Mario Vartanian, almost contact the half spin as well. Very, very close indeed. Back up to your race leader. And it will be the checkered flag. It will be points gained heading towards the season finale for Ryan Wood. Second place, Lindbaum. Third place, the second place to Dance. Third place goes to Lindbaum as Joel Shikamazira had an incident on the last lap. Is he out of fuel or something? And that gives Hobbo, crucially, a couple more points. But more importantly, it gives him 6th place in this race. So, Hobbo, a couple of extra positions gained. That is exactly what he needs. But Ryan Wood really did need every little bit of that as Inquas and a couple of others. Jamie Ross coming across the finish line as well. But I think that is just about everybody in the race done. And that will be round number 11 of Just Send It from Mokoyama complete. What we'll do is we'll get your results up on screen. And after 40 minutes and 4 seconds, pretty much bang on 40 minutes, it is going to be Ryan Wood clawing the championship lead down with a big, big win. Exactly what he needed, and momentum heading in towards the season finale. Cam Dance in position number 2 ahead of Christian Lindbaum. Those two round out the podium. Great effort there. And they will finish ahead of Steve Jansen and Eddie Bestwick, who pick up top 5 places after the disaster on the final lap for one of your other drivers. Brenton Hobson, well, you know where he's going to finish, don't you? It's position number 6. Mario Vartanian in 7th. Daniel Yeaman in 8th. Tyson McAvoy in 9th. And Aiden Brand in position number 10. Joel Shikamazira, heartbreak on the final lap. Runs out of fuel and will coast into a lonely 11th place. Tom Wilkinson in position number 12 ahead of Tim Mitchell, Simon Black, and Jonathan Bykoff, your top 15. Ian Quas and Jamie Giroux, your last of the drivers, in 17th place on the lead lap, with Harrison Deadgate 1 lap down and Matthew Kefford 2 laps down as well. Heartbreak again for Mitchell McLeod. He's got the speed, he's got the talent, but unfortunately the luck, or perhaps just a little driver error late in the race, ruled him out of it entirely. Tyler Howard was having a very good race as well. Did a lot of rallycross, but comes home 21st out of Kai Allen, Lee Harrison, Matt Lapino, Jane Russell, Emerson Harvey, Jamie Craig, and then a couple of our other drivers got removed from the server as well. So there we go. Round number 11 of Just Send It is complete. It was a brilliant battle. We had plenty of entertainment in that race as well. I'm Bo Albert on behalf of Bo Albert 2, my co-commentator. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, on behalf of Mr. J.K. Kennedy on the camera as well. Can't forget Mr. J. But thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you for the season finale in a week's time. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time. This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
This is very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh, my God.
God, what?